Give a warm welcome for James Donio.
Thank you. So I apologize to the half of you who are already sick of me from being at Music Biz for the past 3 days, but for those of you who were there, I thank you for being there. It was a tremendous event. Our second year here in Nashville, and hopefully there will be a third and a fourth and a fifth. We haven't officially made a decision yet, but certainly our intention to return. So I'm here to talk about my experiences and my who knew moments. So kind of my first thought or question is, everybody thinks about how did I get here? How am I here 28 years later? I've been with the organization for 28 years. Who gave me my break? I was really fortunate to answer in the days when, I'm dating myself, but in the days when jobs were found by, ads in a newspaper. That was like this paper thing that you got like delivered to your house, and it had little ads in it for jobs. And I found a little ad in the newspaper for an entertainment organization and went for the interview, did the interview. The woman who headed the organization, her name was Mickey Granberg, she felt that, I was terrific, but I was overqualified for the job, and it was no harm, no foul. And I left and figured, okay, on to whatever the next thing would be. And a couple of days later, I got a call from her assistant saying she wanted me to come back for another interview. And I said, why? She said I was overqualified, and why would she want me to come back? No, just come back. So made plans to go for the interview, second interview, 2 days later. But the next day, I was in a pretty horrible automobile accident, was almost killed. My car was completely totaled, and I really just got by with my life in this accident. Had no car to even drive to the interview, this second interview, but rented a car, went for the interview, and met with her, and she said, I love you, I think you're amazing, I think you have incredible potential, and I'm gonna create a job for you. And she did. And that was 28 years ago, and here I am 28 years later, and I'm the president of this association, Music Business Association. So what kind of impact has this organization had on the business of music? Well, when it started out, it actually was NARM, which was National Association of Recording Merchandisers. So it was when the business was exclusively about physical product, so albums, LP, cassettes, 8-tracks, all the physical products that were distributed and sold by different kinds of retail businesses, not necessarily specialist businesses in like music stores. That's how it started in 1958. And over these decades, the organization has evolved, the organization has grown and diversified so that we're about whatever helps the business of music to continue to be healthy. So we're agnostic. We just want it to be about the transaction. We want somebody to pay for something. So if it's a physical unit, that's fine. If it's vinyl, that's fine. If it's a CD, that's fine. If it's a subscription, that's fine. If it's supporting ad-supported services, that's fine. We just want there to be a business of music, and the organization's flagship event is this, Music Biz convention that we've had here for the past couple of years, and it's a nexus, it's a cross-section. It's bringing together every entity, whether it's an individual professional, a songwriter, musician, artist, lawyer, consultant, manager, and all the different kinds of companies that represent the music business, all the digital music services, retail stores, independent stores, record labels, distributors. That's what we are. There were 1,500 people and students in academia, 1,500 people here for 3 days whose common interest is that there be a business of music. That's what we do. And we have both company and individual membership. So I would encourage you to check us out. It's musicbiz.org. And certainly there's a good chance we're going to be back here next year. So if those of you who didn't come this year and are kind of interested now that I'm whetting your appetite, please check out musicbiz.org. So the power of personal connection is another point. And this is something that's really has really been big in my life and big in terms of my success. In addition to running this organization, I also, 2 years ago, I had always wanted to teach, and I decided that I would like to try to explore that, but I had this 60-hour-a-week job, and how was I going to also teach? But fortunately for me, I made a personal connection years ago with Joe Rapola, who worked in the business, and he became the department head of the Department of Music and Theater at Monmouth University in Long Branch, New Jersey. And I had that connection to him, and we ran into each other at an event in New York. And this is always so important, and I tell this to my students because now I'm an adjunct professor. I teach Introduction to the Music Business Ecosystem there. I'm going into my 3rd year, and I tell my students who are looking for, opportunities, ways to get an internship or a job, or just learn something from someone else. You never know who's standing next to you. In line at a show, in line at a movie, at the laundromat, whatever. You just never know. And there's a power, a magic, an unexpected, consequence sometimes to just that power of making that personal connection. Be open. Put yourself out there, because you just never, ever know where that's going to lead. It certainly has happened for me. I have a very strong belief, even in this era, which is never going to change back, but I still have a very big belief in face-to-face meetings, in face-to-face contact. There's nothing that can replace the way that technology has enabled us to do things we could never do, before, to be able to meet with people in, Germany or Australia or whatever, and move business forward. But when there's an opportunity to be face-to-face with someone, to make eye contact, to shake someone's hand, to hug, just to have that contact, there's no way to replace that. We talk a lot about, artists advancing their careers and all the ways that technology helps that, but there's nothing that can replicate an in-store appearance at a store, in a parking lot where the band is there, and maybe it's a local band and they're just getting started, and there's nothing that replaces that, the members of that band staying afterwards and signing something, taking a picture, a selfie with someone. That makes a difference to people. It's that power. It's a power of that personal connection. So that's really been very important to me. Life-changing experiences, well, it's an embarrassment of riches for me. I've been so fortunate to make, just have moments with, Taylor Swift, with Jack White, with Katy Perry, with The Who. Oh my God, last year in the underbelly of the Bridgestone Arena, we get to give this Lifetime Achievement Award to The Who. Like, how does this happen? How does this happen to this skinny, short, little Italian kid from Philadelphia who just, almost got killed in a car accident and got this job, and like 20 some years later, I'm giving awards out to these people. It's amazing to me. Just this week, on Monday, I got to give an award to the Monkees. When I was 10 years old, in October of 1966, the very first record album I ever received in my life from my family, from my parents, for my 10th birthday was the Monkees. It was the Monkees' first album. So this is like an amazing, this is like the who knew of who knew moments. Who knew that 50 years later, yes, I'm going to be 60 years old this October. Who knew 50 years later I would be giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to this band that was the very first album I ever got, in my life. And here I am 50 years later. You just don't know. You don't know how these things are going to happen to you. I will also say that, teaching changed my life. And I am putting so much into it, but it will never replace what I'm getting out of it. The inspiration, the personal connection, the way in which my students are now. I feel very paternal toward them. I always wanted to do it. I will never regret taking that step. And I guess, last but not least, more of these pictures. When I think about things I have done along the way to get where I am, 3 things really stand out for me. I've always like really tried to be and value professionalism, that it's really important, even when in your most frustrating moments, and trust me, and those of you who are in the music business know, music business can be very frustrating. People can be very frustrating. Egos can be very frustrating. Just always try to maintain that professionalism. You know, count to 10, really think about things before you act, before you speak. A very wise mentor said to me, don't ever answer an email when you're angry or upset with someone who sent you some message or some email. Attention to detail, you know, doing events like this, it's just little things really stand out for people. People will often remember the little thing that went wrong as opposed to the 9 things that went right. So really, really focus on detail. And I guess last but not least, you know, I've led my life both personally and professionally as very much a fatalist. I really, truly believe that things do happen for a reason. You know, I got into that car accident. You know, when I went home that day, it certainly crossed my mind to maybe not even rent a car and go back for that meeting the next day. Because like, what difference did it make? She said I was overqualified, or underqualified, or overqualified. But I did, because I really do believe that there's just some path. I mean, everybody believes what they want to believe, and I'm not getting into that. But I really do believe in just fate. Things are all happening to us for reasons, and I would say that for tonight, that, you know, I ended up getting invited to do this for a reason. After doing our event for 3 days, you know, knowing Tom and Tom inviting us to do this, I'm really pleased that I got a chance to be here. Thank you all that supported our Music Biz event. In my heart of hearts, even though I can't 100% say right now, in my heart of hearts, I really hope that we're back in Nashville next year, because it does feel like we found a home here. Thank you. Good night.
People everywhere, things are getting better. Who knew that it was here? If you got the patience, keep an open mind. Things happen for a reason. This could be the time. Who knew? 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 Turning, progress won't be denied. Don't stop the fire burning. Brilliance lives inside. Time for a solution. Changes in the